Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Are you tired of waking up and feeling the same way every day? Tired of trying to change, but something always pulls you back? Today, I want to give you something simple, something you already have: your voice. This is a graded lesson for English learners who want words that truly matter. Because here is what I know. The words you say to yourself every single morning are shaping your life. Not just your mood, not just your day, your life. The way you see yourself, the way you treat others, the way you walk into a room, take on a challenge, or face a fear. Your words shape your world. And most of us have never stopped to ask, what am I actually saying to myself? What is the first thing my mind whispers when I open my eyes? Is it kind? Is it honest? Is it helping me grow? In this lesson, we are going to answer those questions together. We are going to look at why words are so powerful, why the morning is the most important time to use them, and how to use them the right way, not in a forced way, not in a way that feels fake, in a way that is honest, warm, and real enough for your heart to actually listen. We will go through 10 lessons today. Each one builds on the last. By the end, you will have 5 powerful morning affirmations to carry with you. Words you can say every single day. Words that over time will quietly begin to change the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you live. You do not need to believe everything I say right now. You do not need to feel ready. All you need to do is listen. And if this kind of content speaks to you, if you want more lessons that go deep into the mind and the heart, subscribe right now. There is so much more coming for you. Now, let us begin with the most important question of all. Why do words have so much power over us in the first place? Think about a time someone said something to you that stayed. Maybe it was a compliment that made you stand a little taller. Maybe it was a criticism that followed you for years. Maybe it was something so small the person who said it has completely forgotten, but you have not. That is the power of words. They land, they stick, they become part of how we understand ourselves. Now, think about who talks to you the most. Who has the most access to your mind? Who is there when you wake up, when you eat, when you drive, when you lie down at night unable to sleep? You. You are the person who talks to you the most every single day. More than your partner, more than your friends, more than anyone on the internet. You. And what you say in that private conversation, that quiet voice inside, it matters more than anything anyone else has ever told you. This lesson is about that voice. It is about learning to speak to yourself the way a good friend would, the way someone who loves you would, the way someone who believes in you, even on your worst days, would. You deserve that voice, and today we are going to build it together. Lesson 1. Have you ever noticed the words you say to yourself? Not the words you say out loud, not the words you type in a message or speak in a meeting, the words inside, the ones that run quietly in the background, like a song you did not choose, but cannot stop hearing. Most of us have never really listened to that song. We just live with it. We assume it is just how we are. We assume the voice in our head is telling the truth. But here is the truth. That voice learned what to say, and what it learned, it can unlearn. Scientists who study the brain have found something extraordinary. The brain is not fixed. It is not a machine that was built one way and stays that way forever. It is more like a muscle. When you use it in a new direction, it grows in that direction. When you repeat a thought, a belief, a feeling, the brain begins to build a pathway for it, and the more you repeat it, the stronger that pathway becomes. Carol Dweck, a researcher who spent decades studying how people learn and grow, called this the growth mindset. The idea that your abilities, your beliefs, your sense of who you are, none of it is locked. All of it can change. All of it can grow. But only if you give it the right input. And one of the most powerful inputs you can give your brain is the words you choose to repeat. You speak, you repeat, you believe. It really is that simple. And that is also why it is so dangerous when the words we repeat are cruel ones. When we wake up and say, even quietly, even half-consciously, I am not good enough. I always mess things up. Nobody really cares about me. We are not just expressing a feeling, we are teaching our brain to see the world that way. Here is what most people miss. Your brain does not always know the difference between a thought you are practicing and a truth you have already proven. It treats repetition as evidence. Say something enough times, feel it enough times, and your brain begins to build a life around it. Now think about what that means for the good words, the honest words, the kind ones. If your brain treats repetition as evidence, then every time you say something true and gentle and strong to yourself, you are building a new kind of evidence, a new kind of world. A person who says, I cannot, and a person who says, I am learning, are not just using different words. They are living in different realities. One has a brain that is looking for proof of failure. The other has a brain that is looking for proof of progress. And both of them will find exactly what they are looking for. This is not magic. This is not wishful thinking. This is simply how the mind works. And once you understand it, you cannot go back to ignoring the words you say to yourself. So let me ask you one more time. What are you saying to yourself today? What has your inner voice been teaching your brain day after day, morning after morning? Whatever the answer is, it is okay. You are here now, and that means something is already beginning to change. In the next lesson, we are going to talk about why the morning, specifically the morning, is the most powerful time to speak new words into your mind. Because not all moments are equal, and the first moments of your day are unlike any other. Lesson 2. Think about the first 5 minutes after you wake up. Not the first 5 minutes when you are fully awake, sitting up, ready to face the day. I mean those very first moments. When your eyes open, but your mind is still soft. Still somewhere between the dream and the day. Still quiet in a way it will not be again until tonight. That moment. That window. It is more important than most people realize. When you first wake up, your brain is in a special state. It is relaxed. It is open. It has not yet built up the walls it builds during the day. The defenses, the worries, the list of things to do, the memories of yesterday's problems. In those first quiet minutes, your mind is like soft ground after rain. Whatever you plant in it goes deeper than at any other time of the day. This is why what you do in the first 5 to 10 minutes of your morning matters so much. Not because of some rules someone made up, but because of the way your brain actually works. Robin Sharma, a writer who has spent his life studying the habits of people who live with purpose and peace, said it simply: own your morning, own your day. And he was right, not because the morning is magical, but because the morning sets the tone. It sends a signal to your brain about what kind of day this is going to be, and your brain, wanting to be helpful, spends the rest of the day looking for evidence to match that signal. If the first signal is fear, the brain looks for danger. If the first signal is calm, the brain looks for possibility. The morning belongs to you. The morning is yours to use. The morning is the one moment nobody can take. Now let me tell you about a woman named Anna. Anna was 34 years old. She worked long hours. She had 2 young children. She was tired in a way that sleep alone could not fix. Every morning, before her feet even touched the floor, she reached for her phone. Notifications, news, messages, problems that had arrived while she slept, waiting for her to carry them. By 8 in the morning, Anna already felt behind, already felt like she was losing, and she had not even started yet. One day, someone suggested she try something different. Just 5 minutes. Before the phone, before the noise. 5 minutes of sitting quietly and saying a few simple words to herself. Words she chose. Words that were kind. Words that were true. Anna did not believe it would help, but she was tired enough to try anything. 3 weeks later, She said something that surprised even her. She said, "I do not know if my life has changed, but the way I feel when I walk into my life has changed." And that, she realized, was where everything begins. Stay with me, because this is the key thing I want you to understand. You cannot always control what happens in your day. You cannot control traffic, or your boss, or the weather, or the news. But you can control the first 5 minutes. You can control the signal. You can choose what your brain hears first. And if you choose words that are warm and honest and strong, you are giving your brain the best possible start. You are saying today, "I am on my side." That small choice made every single morning is not small at all. In the next lesson, we are going to look at something that might be a little uncomfortable. Because before we talk about the new words you want to say, we need to look honestly at the old ones you are already saying. The ones you may not even know are there. Lesson 3. Before we talk about new words, let us look at the old ones. This is the part most people skip. They hear about affirmations and they want to jump straight to the good stuff, the powerful phrases, the morning routines, the new version of themselves. And I understand that. Hope feels better than honesty. But here is the thing. If you plant new seeds in ground that is full of old weeds, the weeds will win. Every time. So let us be honest together for a moment. Let us look at the words you are already saying to yourself. Not to judge them, not to feel shame about them, just to see them clearly. Because you cannot change what you cannot see. Now think about this. Most people, from the moment they wake up, are already talking to themselves in ways they have never chosen. I am so tired. I do not want to do this today. Why is everything so hard? I always mess things up. I am not the kind of person who can do that. Nobody really understands me. These are not dramatic thoughts. They are ordinary. They are the kind of quiet background noise that most of us live with every single day. And because they are so ordinary, we do not notice them. We do not question them. We treat them like facts, but they are not facts. They are habits, and habits can be changed. Let me tell you about a man named David. David was 40 years old, smart, hardworking, the kind of person people called reliable. But inside, there was a voice that never stopped. It said things like, "You are not as good as they think you are. One day they will find out. You have wasted too much time already. It is probably too late for you now." David had lived with that voice for so long that he thought it was just who he was. He thought that was just how thinking worked. He did not know it had a name. He did not know it could be changed. The day someone told him that his inner voice was also an affirmation, just a negative one, something shifted. He realized he had been practicing failure for 20 years. Not because he wanted to fail, but because nobody had ever told him that the practice was happening. Most people say, "I am so tired," before they even stand up. Strong minds say, "I have what I need for today." That is not a small difference. That is not just a different set of words. That is a different direction for the brain to walk in. And over months and years, those directions lead to very different places. Now, I want to say something important, and I want you to really hear it. This is not your fault. The voice in your head did not arrive there by accident. It was shaped by everything around you, by the way people spoke to you when you were young, by the things you were told about yourself, about your abilities, about your worth, by the culture you grew up in, the school you attended, the family you came home to. You did not choose those words. They were given to you. And at the time, you had no way to refuse them. But now you do. That is what this lesson is really about. Not guilt, not shame, just the quiet, powerful realization that the words living in your head are not permanent. They are not the truth about who you are. They're just old habits. And old habits, with patience and practice, can be replaced by new ones. Your words shape your world. And the beautiful thing is, you get to choose new words starting today. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. today, right now, in this moment. In the next lesson, we are going to talk about how to do it the right way, because there is a right way and a wrong way, and most people, without knowing it, are doing it the wrong way. Lesson 4. Most people say affirmations wrong, and that is why they stop. They find a list online. They read it out loud in front of the mirror. They feel a little silly. Nothing seems to happen. After a few days, they forget about it. After a few weeks, they decide it does not work. And they go back to the old voice, the one that was always there, the one that feels more honest, even when it is not kind. I do not want that to happen to you. So before we get to the words themselves, I want to talk about how to say them. Because the words are only half of it. The other half is something most people never think about. Let me make this simple. There are 3 things that make an affirmation actually work. 3 keys. And if you are missing even one of them, the words will feel empty. They will feel like a performance. And your heart, which is smarter than you think, will know the difference. The first key is present tense. Affirmations work when they are spoken as if they are already true. Not, I will be confident one day. Not, I hope to feel better soon. But, I am. I have. I choose. The brain responds to the present. It does not know how to feel good about a future it cannot see yet, but it can begin to feel good about a present it is being shown right now. This does not mean lying to yourself. It means speaking to the person you are becoming as if she is already standing here. The second key is emotion. This is the one most people miss completely. You can say the most beautiful words in the world and feel absolutely nothing, and they will do almost nothing. The brain does not just process language, it processes feeling. When you say a word with real emotion behind it, the brain lights up differently. It pays attention. It remembers. So when you say your morning affirmation, do not read it like a shopping list. Feel it. Even just a little, even just a flicker. That flicker is enough to begin. The third key is the belief bridge. This one is the most important of all, and it is the reason so many well-meaning affirmation lists fail people. If you say something your brain completely rejects, it will not work. In fact, it can make things worse. If you say, I am a millionaire, and every part of you knows that is not true right now, your brain will laugh. It will push back. It will say, no, you are not, and now you feel worse than before. The belief bridge is the space between where you are and where you want to be, and a good affirmation lives in that space. It is honest enough to believe and hopeful enough to grow toward. If you say something without feeling, nothing moves. If you say it with doubt, nothing grows. If you say it with a small piece of trust, everything begins. Let me give you an example. A young woman named Sarah had spent years struggling with money. She had debt. She had fear around every financial decision she made. Someone told her to say every morning, I am wealthy and abundant. But every time she said it, she felt like she was lying. She felt like a fraud. And the affirmation made her feel worse, not better. Then she changed the words. She said instead, I am learning to make wise choices with the money I have, and I am getting better every day. That she could believe. That felt true. And because it felt true, she could say it with feeling. And because she said it with feeling, her brain began to listen. The bridge does not have to reach all the way to the destination. It just has to reach far enough for you to take one step forward. In the next lesson, I'm going to give you 5 specific affirmations. Each one is built on these 3 keys. Present tense, real emotion, a bridge your heart can cross. These are not magic words, but, said the right way, every single morning, they can begin to quietly change everything. Lesson 5. These are not magic words. I want to say that again before we begin, because I think it matters. These are not spells. They are not secret codes that unlock a better life the moment you say them. They are something more honest than that. They are reminders. They are gentle, daily acts of choosing to see yourself clearly, to speak to yourself with the same kindness you would offer someone you love. Said every morning, said with feeling, said with even a small amount of belief. These 5 affirmations can slowly, quietly begin to change everything. Hear me on this. The first affirmation is for your sense of worth. I am enough exactly as I am today. Not, I will be enough when I lose the weight or get the promotion or fix the thing I broke. Not, I am enough except for this part of me I am still ashamed of. Just, I am enough today as I am, with all the things I am still working on and all the things I have not yet figured out. This one is hard for many people because we live in a world that is constantly telling us we are not quite there yet, that we need to be more, do more, have more. And after years of hearing that, we start to believe it. But it is not true. You are not a project to be finished. You are a person already whole, already worthy, already here. And the morning is a good time to remember that. The second affirmation is for your courage. I can face what comes. I have done it before. This one is powerful because it is completely undeniably true. You have already faced hard things. You have already survived days that felt impossible. You have already proven more times than you remember that you are stronger than you thought. This affirmation does not ask you to be fearless. It does not tell you that everything will be easy. It simply reminds you of what is already true. You have done hard things, and you can do them again. The third affirmation is for your peace. I choose calm. I choose to breathe first. In a world that moves faster every year, the ability to pause before you react is one of the most powerful skills a person can develop. This affirmation is a daily commitment to that pause, a small promise to yourself that today you will try to breathe before you speak. Think before you act. Choose calm before you choose chaos. It will not work every time, but every time it does work, your life becomes a little quieter, a little more yours. The fourth affirmation is for your growth. Every day I am becoming a little more of who I want to be. Not a lot more, not dramatically, visibly, noticeably more, just a little. That is all growth ever really is. Small movements in the right direction repeated over time until one day you look back and realize how far you have come. This affirmation is honest. It does not promise overnight transformation. It promises something better. Direction. Progress. The quiet confidence of a person who knows they are moving, even when the movement is slow. The fifth affirmation is for your relationships. I give kindness. I receive kindness. I deserve kindness. This one works in 3 directions at once. Outward, toward the people in your life. Inward, allowing yourself to receive what others offer, and deeply at the level of belief, claiming the simple truth that you are worthy of being treated well. Many people find the third part the hardest. They can give kindness easily, they can receive it sometimes. But to say I deserve it, that takes practice, that takes mornings. That takes saying it again and again until the part of you that doubts it grows a little smaller. Your words shape your world. And these 5 words, said every morning, are 5 small acts of building a world you actually want to live in. If this lesson is speaking to you, if these ideas are landing somewhere deep, subscribe right now, because there is so much more coming. And the people who stay are the ones who change. Now, in the next lesson, we are going to talk about something that happens to almost everyone who tries this, something that makes most people stop. And I want to make sure it does not make you stop. Lesson 6. Let me ask you something honest. Have you tried this before? Have you written affirmations in a notebook? Or said them to your reflection in the mirror? Or set them as reminders on your phone? And did you stop? Did something inside you give up before it had time to work? If yes, I want you to know something. You are not weak. You are not someone who cannot change. You are simply someone who did not know what to expect. And when what you expected did not come, you thought it meant nothing was happening. But something was happening. It was just happening somewhere you could not see yet. Here is what most people miss. When you plant a seed, you do not see it grow for a long time. The ground looks the same the next day, and the day after that, and the day after that. If you dug it up every morning to check on it, it would never grow at all. Growth needs darkness. Growth needs patience. Growth needs you to keep watering even when you see nothing. Your mind works the same way. The first week of saying new words to yourself, you may feel almost nothing. The second week, you might notice something small, a moment where you caught yourself before saying something unkind to yourself, a morning where you felt slightly less heavy than usual, a conversation where you held your ground a little longer than before. These are not small things. These are the first signs of roots. James Clear, who has spent years studying the way habits form and hold, said something that has stayed with many people. He said that you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And your morning affirmations are a system. A quiet, daily system for building the mind you want to live in. You plant, you water, you wait. People who quit say it is not working. People who stay say it is working somewhere I cannot see yet. And the people who stay long enough to see it, they are the ones who write to say that everything changed. Not overnight, not dramatically, but deeply, permanently, in a way that does not wash away when life gets hard again. Now, I want to be honest with you about something else, because I think you deserve honesty more than you deserve comfort. There will be mornings when you say the words and feel nothing. Mornings when your mind pushes back hard. Mornings when the old voice is louder than the new one. Mornings when the gap between who you are and who you want to be feels so wide that the affirmation feels like a joke. Those mornings are not failures. Those mornings are the training. A person lifting weights does not get stronger on the easy days. They get stronger on the days the weight feels heaviest, the days they almost do not lift at all. But they do. Just barely. Just enough. That is where the strength is built. Stopping is human. Starting again is strength. So if you have stopped before, start again today. Not with pressure, not with the weight of all the times you gave up. Just with this morning. Just with one quiet minute and one honest word. That is enough. That has always been enough. In the next lesson, we go somewhere deeper. Because, for some of you, the reason the words do not land is not about consistency. It is about something older. Something that arrived long before you ever heard the word affirmation. And it deserves to be seen. Lesson 7. Some of you are carrying words that were given to you a long time ago. Words you never asked for. Words you never chose. Words that arrived when you were young and did not yet have the tools to question them, to refuse them, to set them down and walk away. Maybe someone told you that you were too much, too loud, too sensitive, too emotional, too different. Maybe someone told you that you were not enough, not smart enough, not disciplined enough, not the kind of person who succeeds. Maybe nobody said anything at all, and the silence itself became a message you spent years trying to decode. Whatever those old words were, they did not disappear when you grew up. They went somewhere quieter. They became the voice you think of as your own. Take a breath. I want to tell you about a man named Thomas. He was 42 years old. He had a good job, a family he loved, a life that looked from the outside like something to be proud of. But inside, Thomas carried a heaviness he could not explain. Every time something good happened, a quiet voice appeared. You do not deserve this. This will not last. Who do you think you are? He had heard those words first from his father, a man who was not cruel, not intentionally, but who had grown up in a world where praise was weakness and criticism was love. Thomas's father had said those things because his father had said them to him, and his father before that. A long line of voices passing down the same old wound. Thomas did not know this at first. He thought the voice was just him. He thought it was the truth. It was not until he stopped and listened, really listened, that he realized something. The voice in his head spoke in his father's rhythm. It used his father's patterns. It was not Thomas at all. It was an echo. An old recording playing in a room that had long since changed. Viktor Frankl, a man who survived things most of us cannot imagine and still chose to believe in the human capacity for meaning, wrote something that has never left me. He said that between a moment that happens to you and the way you respond to it, there is a space. And in that space is your freedom. You are not your father's words. You are not your teacher's judgment. You are not the voice that told you to be small. Those words were real. The pain they caused was real, but they are not the final word about who you are. They never were. A wounded mind holds on to the old voice because it is familiar. A healing mind learns slowly to speak a new one. And this is where affirmations do something that nothing else quite does. They are not just new words. They are your words, chosen by you, spoken in your voice, placed deliberately in the space where the old recording used to play. Every morning you say them, you are not just practicing a new belief. You are reclaiming the conversation. You are saying, "This is my mind, and I choose what it hears first." Your words shape your world. This is not quick work. Healing rarely is. There will be days when the old voice is louder, days when the new words feel thin against the weight of everything that came before. That is okay. You are not trying to erase the past. You are trying to stop letting it write your future. You deserve words that are kind, words that are true, words that come from the part of you that has always known, even quietly, even in the darkest moments, that you are worth something, that you have always been worth something. That part of you has been waiting. Give it a voice. In the next lesson, we are going to bring everything together into something you can actually use tomorrow morning. A simple 5-minute ritual that holds all of this. Because understanding is not enough. You need a practice, and I am going to give you one. Lesson 8. You do not need an hour. I want to say that clearly before anything else because I know that some of you are already thinking, I do not have time for this. My mornings are chaos. The children need breakfast. I have a train to catch. I am barely getting enough sleep as it is. I hear you. And I want you to know that everything I am about to share with you fits inside 5 minutes. 5 minutes before the noise begins. 5 minutes that are yours. Mel Robbins, a woman who spent years studying why people struggle to act on the things they know they should do, discovered something simple and uncomfortable. The problem is almost never knowledge. Most people already know what would help them. The problem is the gap between knowing and doing. And the only way to close that gap, she found, is to move before your brain talks you out of it. So here is what I want you to do tomorrow morning. 5 steps, 5 minutes. That is all. Listen carefully. Step 1. Wake. Before you reach for your phone, before you check the time, before the day has a chance to climb in through the window, simply open your eyes. Notice that you are here. Notice that you are breathing. That is enough for step 1. Step 2. Breathe. Take 3 slow breaths. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Not because breathing is magic, but because it sends a signal to your body. It says we are calm, we are safe. We are starting from a place of peace, not panic. 3 breaths, that is all. Step 3. Speak. This is where your affirmations come in. Say your 5 morning affirmations out loud or quietly under your breath if others are sleeping. Say them slowly. Say them with the 3 keys we talked about. Present tense, emotion, a bridge your heart can cross. Do not rush them. Let each one land before you move to the next. Step 4. Feel. After you say each affirmation, pause for just a moment. Ask yourself, where do I feel this in my body? In your chest? Your shoulders? Your throat? You do not need to feel something dramatic. A small warmth, a slight release of tension, a quiet yes somewhere inside. That is enough. That is the feeling doing its work. Step 5. Move. Stand up. Put your feet on the floor. Walk to the window or the kitchen or the bathroom. Move your body in any direction. Because when you move after you speak, your body agrees with your mind. It says, yes, we are going somewhere today. We are not staying still. If you breathe before you speak, your words carry more weight. If you speak before you rush, your day starts with intention. If you move after you speak, your body agrees with your mind. People who wait for the perfect moment to begin never begin. People who use 5 imperfect minutes every day change their lives. You do not need silence. You do not need a special room, or a candle, or a journal, or anything you do not already have. You just need 5 minutes and the willingness to show up for yourself before you show up for everything else. This ritual is not about being perfect. Some mornings you will rush through it. Some mornings you will forget a step. Some mornings the words will feel hollow, and the breathing will feel forced, and the moving will feel like dragging yourself across the floor. Do it anyway. Imperfectly, incompletely, do it anyway. Because the morning you do it when you least want to, that is the morning it matters most. That is the morning the roots go deepest. In the next lesson, we are going to zoom out. Because your words do not stop with you. And I think that when you understand how far they reach, you will want to choose them even more carefully. Lesson 9. Here is something most people never think about. Your words do not stop with you. We have spent this entire lesson talking about the voice inside your head, the private conversation, the morning ritual, the words you say when no one else can hear. And all of that matters deeply. But there is something else happening at the same time, something quieter, something that takes longer to see. The way you speak to yourself becomes the way you speak to everyone else. Pause for 1 second. Think about a person you know who is hard on themselves, who criticizes every mistake they make, who never seems satisfied with what they have done. Now think about how that person speaks to the people around them. Are they patient? Are they gentle when others make mistakes? Are they able to receive a compliment without deflecting it, without shrinking from it? Usually not. Because the voice we use inside becomes the voice we use outside. Not always, not perfectly, but over time, consistently, undeniably. The standard we hold ourselves to becomes the standard we hold others to. The kindness we refuse ourselves is the kindness we struggle to offer freely, and the reverse is also true. Let me tell you about a woman named Grace. Grace was 46 years old. She was a mother of 3. She loved her children the way only a mother can, completely without condition. But she was exhausted. She snapped at them in the mornings. She apologized at night. She felt guilty constantly, and no matter how much she loved them, the words that came out of her mouth when she was tired or stressed were sharper than she wanted them to be. Grace did not think of herself as someone who needed affirmations. She thought that was for people with bigger problems. She thought she just needed more sleep, or more help, or more hours in the day, but she tried it anyway. Just the morning ritual, just 5 minutes, just the 5 affirmations. And something unexpected happened. After 3 weeks, her youngest daughter said to her, "Mama, you seem different lately. You seem softer." Grace had not changed her parenting strategy. She had not read a book about communication or taken a course on emotional intelligence. She had simply started speaking more kindly to herself. And without trying, without forcing it, that kindness had begun to leak out. She changed her words. She changed her tone. She changed her home. This is the ripple effect of inner language. When you fill yourself with words of worth, of calm, of courage, those words do not stay inside. They come out in the patience you have for your partner when they are struggling. They come out in the gentleness you offer a friend who has made a mistake. They come out in the way you hold space for someone else's pain because you have learned to hold space for your own. Your words are a gift to yourself first, and then quietly, without even trying, to everyone you love. This is why the morning matters so much. This is why 5 minutes of honest, kind, deliberate words at the start of your day is not a small thing. It is not just self-care. It is not just personal development. It is the beginning of a different way of being in the world. With yourself, with the people closest to you, with strangers, with life itself. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You have heard that before. But maybe now it means something different, because now you know how to fill it. Not with things from the outside, with words from the inside. Your own words, chosen carefully, said every morning, meant a little more each time. In our final lesson, we bring it all home, because knowing is not enough, and I want to make sure you leave today not just with understanding, but with something you will actually do tomorrow morning when your alarm goes off and the world starts asking things of you again. Lesson 10. You have listened. You have learned. Now comes the only part that matters. We have talked about why words are powerful. We have talked about the morning window, about the old voices, about the 3 keys, about the 5 affirmations, about the ritual, about healing, about the ripple that reaches everyone you love. You know all of it now. You have everything you need. And still, I know what some of you are thinking. I will start tomorrow. I will start when things calm down. I will start when I feel more ready. Let me say something to you as gently and as honestly as I can. The voice in your head is going to talk anyway. Every morning, whether you choose the words or not, that voice will speak. It will say something. The only question is whether you are the one deciding what it says, or whether you are simply letting it say whatever it learned to say a long time ago. You don't need to believe it fully. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to begin. Not perfectly, not with complete faith, not with a clear vision of everything you want your life to become. Just with this. One morning, 5 minutes. 5 honest words spoken into the quiet before the world wakes up and starts asking things of you. That is all. That is the whole thing. I have seen what happens when people do this. Not the dramatic transformations that happen overnight in movies, the real ones, the slow ones. The woman who stopped apologizing for taking up space. The man who finally believed after 40 years that he was someone worth knowing. The teenager who started saying one kind thing to herself each morning and 6 months later could not remember the last time she cried herself to sleep. These are not extraordinary people. They are people exactly like you. People who were tired of the old voice and brave enough to try a new one. Your words shape your world. This is the last time I will say it in this lesson. But I hope it is not the last time you hear it. I hope you hear it tomorrow morning in your own voice, in the quiet before the day begins. I hope it becomes something you carry, something small and strong and entirely yours. Which of the 5 affirmations spoke to you the most today? Was it the one about worth, about courage, about peace, or growth, or kindness? Tell me in the comments below. I read every single one, and your answer might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. If this lesson helped you, share it with someone who needs it. A friend who is hard on themselves. A family member who has forgotten their own worth. Sometimes the greatest gift we can give another person is simply to say, "Here, listen to this. I thought of you." Subscribe if you have not already. There is more coming. More lessons for the mind. More stories for the heart. More words for the mornings when you need them most. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for choosing, even in this small way, to speak more kindly to yourself. Keep listening every day and improve your English one morning at a time. Until next time, take care of yourself. And remember, the conversation in your head is yours. Make it a good one.